What's up, my not niggas? Today I just wanted to do something a little bit different. I wanted to do more of a discussion video today, set to some Final Fantasy X remake in the background. There were a couple different things I was thinking about, and I just wanted to put those thoughts out there on the only social media, in my opinion, worth putting your thoughts on, and that is YouTube. So, I was just thinking, I bought Twisted Metal Black on the PlayStation 4, and was really excited about it, because, you know, it's the whole PS2 backwards compatibility thing, and then I didn't really think about it at the time, but it is kind of shitty that they make you pay like 10 to 15 bucks for old PS2 games, even though they're upscaled and all that shit. But you can't actually... I was under the impression when the whole backwards compatibility thing was announced that we were actually going to be able to like put some PS2 discs in and, you know, fucking play some of our old games. It didn't really occur to me, but that is kind of shitty that they didn't actually add real backwards compatibility, and I'm kind of upset about that. Because I remember, if anyone actually sees the Twisted Metal Black video I did, I kind of fanboyed over it because it was one of those games I never played from that era. But, I mean, it's not because I just love Sony and think that they can't make any mistakes, because, admittedly, that was kind of shitty of them. But I can see why they did it, but they really shouldn't advertise it like they're making backwards compatibility to PlayStation 4, when really you're just paying like 10 to 15 bucks for a PS2 game that is in 1080p. Which, speaking of mistakes made by Sony, I was just looking over on Wikipedia at different console sales, because I'm fascinated by gaming. I love to see all kinds of shit on that. And I was noticing how badly the PlayStation Vita sales are. Like, the PlayStation Portable sold almost like 80 million units, I think it said, but the Vita only sold like 4 million. Which is it's like, that's down there with the fucking weird, like, a Coleco Vision and the Intellect and all these weird-ass, like, 70s and 80s consoles that no one ever bought. Which, I started to think about it, because I actually kind of liked my Vita. But I think I see why it's not very popular. Those rear touchpads are completely homosexual. They have a sexual preference, and it is not in any way a straight fucking sexual preference. You cannot use those buttons to save your life. Like, any game that I've had that requires you to use the rear touchpads, I instantly reassign the controls, because you can't use them. Touchpads are a poor excuse, a poor substitute for a real button. So I think that's probably one of the reasons, and they really didn't support it. Compared to like Nintendo with their fucking DS's and their 3DS, I mean, they really didn't have a whole lot of a lot of games for the fucking Vita. For me, it's a glorified PlayStation 1 emulator. I have all sorts of, like, games I bought on PS3 just downloaded to it. So, I would like to see them make something new again, make another handheld. I hope this isn't like the end of their handhelds. And if anyone from Sony listens to this, which is probably not going to be anybody. Well, no, let me rephrase that. Nobody will. But just throwing it out there for fucking reasons. If you make the next handheld, find a way to put L2 and R2 buttons on it that actually fucking work. And give it a real library of games. Fucking actually, like, invest time into the fucking thing. Like, the only games that are really on there for it are like this. I can get the 10 and 10-2 remake on there. But guess what? I'm playing it on my PS4. It's cool that I can play it on the go, but I like to have a library of games that I could not just play on PS4. That are like developed specifically for the Vita. I think that would be really cool. That's what Nintendo does with some of their titles, like, you know, Mario 3D Land and all the Pokemon games. You can't find them anywhere but on the handheld consoles, which is why they sell so well, because they have really unique games that are actually worth playing, even if you just play them at home like it's a fucking home console. So, So on that subject as well, I recently was playing the new Super Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, whatever the hell they call it, for the fucking 3DS. And man, is that game really nostalgic to me. I played, like, I think it's called Red Rescue Team, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Red Rescue Team, on the Game Boy Advance when I was like 7, 8, somewhere in there. And I remember really liking that game a lot. Something about Pokemon really always appealed to me when I was a kid. I love that shit. I still kind of do, because it reminds me of my childhood. Every time I play it, you know, I just am like, god damn. I remember when I was a little shit, fucking just laying in my bed, being a complete fucking nerd about Pokemon, imagining I was in the world and being a cool trainer and fucking all kinds of gay nerd shit. So every time I play a Pokemon game, it really brings back the nostalgia, and especially for this Mystery Dungeon game. Because I don't know if they actually make Mystery Dungeon games, or if the one for the Game Boy Advance is like the only one they ever made, and this is like the first time they've ever like revisited the idea. And I kind of like it, because I like games like Final Fantasy, as you see here, and it kind of plays with that like strategic element. Like you walk around and you run into the enemies, and you have to use turns, take turns to fucking... I like that. I love that kind of combat system. No one else does. None of my friends do. But I really like that. So playing that was actually really fun, and seeing all the graphics and shit that are hyped up compared to what the Game Boy Advanced was really made me happy. I really like... That's one of the things I have to say about Nintendo. Any game you ever get on a Nintendo product, you never have to have this feeling like, oh god, are they gonna fuck it up? Hell no. It doesn't really matter what they put on, and even no matter what it is, it's always fun. Even if it's not the best game in the world, it's always fun. You never have to worry about it, like, disappointing in that regard. And that's something I have to give them major props for. Like with this new Star Wars Battlefront game that came out. Before it came out, which obviously it's complete shit, if you've played the other Battlefronts, the real Battlefront games, not that fucking game, then you'll know that they completely fucked it up. And you really wouldn't... You know, everyone was worried about whether or not EA would fuck it up, but with Nintendo, you know that if their next Mario game, they're not gonna fuck up. Their next Legend of Zelda game, they're not gonna fuck it up. Their next Pokemon game, it's always gonna have some kind of level of fun to it. And you can't say that about a lot of companies. There's very few companies, like even Bethesda, they've made great games, but if anyone's played Fallout 4, oh god. It's basically a hyped up version of Fallout 3, graphically. But it doesn't play any better. It still lags like a fucking ass on a PlayStation 4 because of their stupid engine they got it running off of. So, you know, there's no gaming company you can just have 100% faith in except Nintendo. And I have to give them major props for that. So, that was just something I was thinking about. I've just had some time to really reflect on what gaming has been to me and what companies have done really good and what's really awesome about gaming recently. And I just kind of wanted to get those thoughts, you know, get those thoughts going, seeing what everyone else thought. Speaking, also, Final Fantasy, the remake, dude, you don't even fucking know how mixed, like, what I've been waiting 6 fucking months, ever since that trailer, for some more, just something, a lick of something to talk about with Final Fantasy VII Remake. I wanted to know something, anything, the battle system. I just needed to know. So I waited patiently for 6 months, and got news that make me want even more news, again, because so far I am just not, I don't feel any better about it. So, they obviously, if you've seen it, they changed the combat system. It's not going to be turn-based like Final Fantasy is supposed to be. It's going to be more of a Kingdom Hearts looking style, which hopefully will be fun, but it really worries me. Because for me, what I would like them to be thinking about when they're making the remake is how can we make this as much like Final Fantasy VII as possible, with only changing the graphics and adding more to it, expanding on the universe. And it seems like they're not going for that angle. They're trying... what I heard from a little interview with, I think, whatever the lead developer's name is of the game, he was saying that all the other Final Fantasy games before 7 all took place in, like, a medieval Europe setting, and 7 was, like, the first one where they experimented with a steampunk kind of world to see what it was, and really changed people's perspectives on what they thought a Final Fantasy game could be. And he says that's what he wants his vision for the remake to be. He wants it to be something people have never seen before. While that's good in theory, that doesn't do a whole lot to comfort longtime fans of the series. I still have no clue whether or not it's going to be good or not, because they're going to try and change so much shit that, but who knows, by the time they're done, it might not be, you might not even be able to recognize it as a Final Fantasy game anymore. And I'm just hoping they don't fuck that up. And they also wanted to make it episodic. Now here's what I'm really upset about. That, of all the things, I can get past the combat being different as long as it's fun, as long as the game expands upon the lore of Final Fantasy VII. But if, I swear to God, they are so fucking stupid. They're gonna make it episodic. In other words, they're gonna release, like, chunks of it at a time, supposedly because the game is too fucking big to fit on a disc. Well, guess what, you stupid fucking idiots. The original Final Fantasy VII was too big to fit on one disc, so you know what they did? They made a 3-disc set. Why not fucking make a 3-disc set for fucking Final Fantasy VII the remake? Package it like a fucking the set Final Fantasy VII was. Ugh. It's like, hello? Are you that fucking stupid? If it's not big enough to fit on the disc, package it the way you used to. Don't sell it to us in chunks. That just, all it did was make everybody suddenly on edge about this remake as to whether or not, what they're fucking thinking, what's going on in their head. So, I'm still really worried about it, but it looks like it's pretty close to being done, and it looks relatively good. So I'm still excited about it, but admittedly, I'm not very hopeful. Which is unfortunate. I really wanted to get crunk about it, and I was getting really crunk about it, but now I just... Also, I would like to say Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays as well. I forgot that the Christmas season is literally so close. It keeps just escaping my mind for some reason. But yeah, Merry Christmas to you guys. And please leave a comment or whatever you want to do. I'd like to, if any of you are out there actually, you know, want to talk about anything, I would be more than willing to talk about gaming and whatever y'all want to talk about. You know, what do you think about Sony's backwards compatibility bullshit? Do you like the PlayStation Vita? Are you excited about the Final Fantasy VII remake? If not, what games are you excited for upcoming? Uncharted 4, by the way. I never actually had played an Uncharted game on PS3. So I really was excited about this Uncharted collection because it was like perfect, because it was like one of those PlayStation exclusives that's supposed to be really good, and I never got the chance to play it. If you have not played the Uncharted games, or you really love them, then you just get the Uncharted collection. I cannot, it is so good. The games are relatively short, like, they're not the longest games in the world. I beat the first one in like 6 hours. The second one was more like 10 hours long. But it's so good, especially because it's a collection and you got like 3 games for the price of fucking 1. Oh, it's so good, and they all run in 60 frames, and I love it. And now I am excited about Uncharted 4 coming out. I haven't beat 3 yet. I'm fixing to beat 3 in a little while, and I'm excited for it. So, anyway, yeah, I would love to talk to you guys about whatever you want, whatever you're excited for. Do you hate Sony? Do you just want to kill me? Leave a comment, say whatever you want to say. In the meantime, I'll see you guys later on another video, and I will still be continuing my Final Fantasy VII Let's Play, not that anyone is missing that, and I hope that more people will start watching it along the way, because I'm very excited to finish it for you guys. See ya.